I am. This is you, the listener. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm deprived. I'm resentful. I'm fed up. I'm jealous. I'm lost. I'm sexually deprived. I'm insecure. So I need you to think through the I am statements in your life and what's truly going on.
Are you here because you're trying to fix your spouse? Because if that's the goal, that doesn't work for me.
Wrong goal.
If you are here because, you want to be a better communicator, if you're here because I just feel like I don't have a voice, if you're here because, I want to know how to love my husband better, I want to know how to better, be a better example to my kids, I want to know how to just be happy and content with what I have.
Yep.
Those types of situations are where I look to start. Because once I know what you're here for, once I know what your goal is, then that tells me where we need to start.
Because recently, with the folks that I've been talking with, whether it's family members, listeners to this program, or friends, there are times in your life where life is very lean. And for you guys that are people of faith, it's like, today I feel the presence of God in my life, and tomorrow it's like, hey, dude, did you check out and move to another solar system? Because I can't find you. Mm-hmm. I don't know where God is in my life. And so I challenge people to say that is the time when you build faith. Why is that? Because in the good times, you can reflect and appreciate your faith. But in the hard times, that's where you build your faith in your relationship. If you're in a place where your spouse is just irritating the fire out of you, know this, that you're not here to fix your spouse. Husbands, you're not here to fix your wife. Wife, you're not here to fix your husband. I cannot, let me say this, rather, I cannot emphasize that enough. Let's go back to point one. Focus on what you can affect. Your attitude, your effort, and your actions. Let's start there. Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. It is I, your humble servant, the Q Dog, in the Moran family studio with my lovely wife, Jeannie Moran. Jeannie, you are now joining me on stage. What's going on?
Oh, I don't know. Something about some Dodgers winning some World Series and some boys in my house getting a little excited.
Yeah, I would say so. If you're listening to this program in 2025 or whenever, the Dodgers have just won back-to-back World Series. So congratulations to them and the Blue Jays. What a great baseball team. So with that, today we're going to start. Why are you here? You're not here to hear us get excited and gloat about the Dodgers. Or maybe you are, but we know that you're here because the title talks about where do I start? One of our most downloaded series, hands down, is where do I start? And so Jeannie and I have put in some work, and we are going to bring you a series, hopefully that's a bit methodical, but tries to paint the picture for you on where you're supposed to start and what you are supposed to do with it. So I'm going to say this could very well be 4 to 6 episodes, but if the information is there and things grow out of these conversations, then we're going to bring you more. We're going to bring you more because the goal is not to just get it wrapped up in a certain number of episodes. The goal is to help you figure out where to start and how to move forward. What are your thoughts, honey, on where to start? Because you are now, like, we've counseled people together, we've coached people, but now you are doing like active coaching with some women that need help. So talk me through real quick what it looks like when somebody's like, okay, well, where do I start?
Well, actually, I ask that question. I don't let them ask that question. I ask them what they're doing here. What is the purpose of coming here? What are you looking for? What are your goals? What is it that you want out of this? Um, Mainly because you can't fix your marriage without first taking a look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never try to jump into things from an email or a phone call and say, okay, well, let's just dive into this category. I want to work on the individual first. I want to get to know the individual first. What do you know about yourself? What do you know about how you learn? What do you know about, how you love? What's your love language? Things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly it's, what is your goal? Are you here because you're trying to fix your spouse? Because if that's the goal, that doesn't work for me.
Wrong goal.
If you are here because, you want to be a better communicator, if you're here because I just feel like I don't have a voice, if you're here because, I want to know how to love my husband better, I want to know how to better, be a better example to my kids, I want to know how to just be happy and content with what I have.
Yep.
Those types of situations are where I look to start. Because once I know what you're here for, once I know what your goal is, then that tells me where we need to start.
I agree. And I think it's very important for us as individuals to understand. I think you bring out a great point, which is, what's your motivation for being here? Why are you here? And that's kind of what, not kind of, that is, that's what helped me build the framework to this. I think this is a newer version than we've ever had of where do I start? And that's because we are continuing to grow and to get better. We're continuing to challenge ourselves just in our own relationship, but also with us as individuals, with me as a professional, with you as a professional, and then to go on to say as a married couple, as parents, etc. You agree with that?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, when we decided to start making some changes from a business perspective, that was the very first thing they told us is, what is your why? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Because if you're just doing it to make money, that's all well and good. But if you don't have a why, a motivation behind it, a dream behind it, an end goal, or at least a starting goal, then you're doing the wrong thing because you don't have a purpose to it. You're just floating along trying to do whatever you see everybody else doing.
Yeah.
So it's a very important question from my perspective.
I totally agree. And what's important, like when we started to map this out and we had a meeting this week, it's like I asked you, if you are going somewhere, what's one of the most important things that you have to know if you're like planning a trip to go somewhere, and that's where are you?
Yeah.
Even in the instance of if there's a medical emergency and you call 911. Okay, what's your emergency? Where are you at? I don't know in what order that comes in. So for us, where it always starts in our process, and Jeannie and I learned this firsthand, is it always starts with taking responsibility. So when I look at this and when I start to talk to men about what they can do, where they can start, it's the old adage from the airplane or the instructions. If the cabin pressure drops, oxygen masks are going to fall from the ceiling. Secure yours first, and then you'll be in a position to help those around you. And it's no different here. And I want to reiterate that something that Jeannie said, which is, and this is a little too early in my notes, but I think it's important to talk to you and say, if you're here to figure out how you can fix your spouse, you're in the wrong place. But don't go anywhere, because if you continue to listen, you actually might find that you are in the right place with the proper perspective, and the proper intention and the proper motivation. So this is where it is for me. This is something, 15 years ago, as I started to redefine my philosophy as a human being, because I was not happy with who I was. One of the things that was important to me was to focus on what I can affect, me personally. What can I affect? Some people say it in a sense of like, control what you can control. Okay, whatever your lingo is, that is what I want to talk to you about. And I'll use my lingo and the lingo that I've learned throughout the years, whether made by me or heard by me, because we use it throughout the program. So when I use a snap word or I use a buzzword, I want you guys to be aware of it. So here it is. Here's what you can do. You can focus on what you can affect when you take responsibility for your attitude and for your effort and for your actions. That is what I implore you to embrace. And that's what you have a part in. That is what you are directly responsible for. And when Jeannie and I were talking about this, it was like, well, honey, when it comes to my diet, how much of what I eat or how much of what you eat will affect me and my body? It's pretty simple. Nothing. Nothing. What you eat, what you consume becomes your personal responsibility. Now, it can affect me in an indirect way if what you're consuming affects your attitude and then you treat me like crap. That is an indirect way that it can affect me. So you have no control over your wife if you're trying to control your wife, or wives if you're trying to control your husbands. Bad method. Don't recommend it. 0 stars. Control happens when there is a source of fear. We have established that if you're trying to control everything, it's because you are living from a place of fear. So your attitude from here on, from this moment on, I want you mentally, husbands or wives, because we have men and women both that listen to this program. I am challenging you to be present in your conversations, to be an authentic listener, and to stop the blaming and the quid pro quo punishment and start observing your own behavior. That is my challenge to you, and you are here for a reason. You can answer that reason, but you're here for a reason. Here's how we can help. Now, since we're not interacting, I can't help qualify you and where you are in the process. So this is structured for you to start to learn about yourself. If you already have all the self-awareness necessary,
do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Thank you. I was going to say something snarky, and I decided not to. So the question that I need you to answer for yourself is, why are we here? How did you get here? And I'm saying, obviously, you're here looking for a place to start, but I really need you to be honest as a listener on this program and remind yourself as you go through this. If you're in a place where your spouse is just irritating the fire out of you, know this, that you're not here to fix your spouse. Husbands, you're not here to fix your wife. Wife, you're not here to fix your husband. I cannot articulate that effectively enough, or let me say this, rather, I cannot emphasize that enough. Let's go back to point 1. Focus on what you can affect. Your attitude, your effort, and your actions. Let's start there. So, this is about, and I wrote this down, and you'll see me glancing down because I have some notes. There are points that I think are very important to get to. This is about getting your house in order. And you cannot effectively spell your without Y-O-U. That's where it begins. That's kind of cheesy, but that's a fact. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to think about the things I'm about to speak about. And why are you here? If it's anything like this, maybe there's something that's not mentioned, honey, at any time, go ahead and flag me down so you can jump in. This is you, the listener. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm deprived. I'm resentful. I'm fed up. I'm jealous. I'm lost. I'm sexually deprived. I'm insecure. So I need you to think through the I am statements in your life and what's truly going on. And I cannot recommend enough that if you don't have a notebook or a journal or something to physically write your thoughts down in, I'm asking you to please get that. If you don't have it yet, that's okay. You can come back to this episode. They do not self-destruct in 5 seconds. So that is why are you here? That is where we are going to start with why you are here. You need to know where you are on the map. Okay. You need to locate yourself. Any thoughts before I move on to the next point?
No, I think you've covered it so far.
Okay. Very good. Now, the next thing is I want to challenge you in this sense. You're going to talk about I am because of where you are, but I also want you to start thinking about what you have gratitude for. That is very important in this process. I'm confident that not everything is going wrong. It may feel that way, but if you are alive and you are listening to this show, there's gratitude point number one. So if you have nothing else, let's just start by having the gift of life and that you are awake, you are well abled, you have an able body, you can listen, you can comprehend, and you can listen to this podcast and write down one thing for gratitude. But it is extremely important for you, the listener, to get a line of gratitude going that you talk about on a daily basis, that you speak about on a daily basis. Because if you don't, then you are going to stay in your misery. And that is not where you want to be.
Okay, there's kind of a caveat to this one, though.
Give the
because
caveat.
There are, in some of our coaching sessions, there have been people that will say, I'm grateful for this, and I think that this is amazing, and I think that this is wonderful, and I'm happy about this, and I'm happy about that. But their actions don't match the verbiage. Like, I appreciate, that my kid is helpful. But then in the next sentence, it will be, but if they would do it this way. When you're doing your gratitude, you have to let go of the but. If the but is there, you're not grateful for it. You're saying it, you're putting it out there, but you're negating it the minute you say, but if, or it would be better if. When I go through my gratitude, it's, I'm grateful for my husband. It has nothing to do with what you do. It has nothing to do with how you behave, how you treat me. It has just, I'm grateful for you, period. There's no extended version. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be flowery. This is for you. This is not for anybody else. No one else is going to read your journal. No one else is going to be involved in this. Unless you're coaching, this is just for you. But I want people to think about it, because in some of the coaching sessions that we've done, when I ask for what are the good things, what are the good points in your life right now? What are the good points in your marriage? What are the good points with your kids? And we start talking through it, I'll get the gratitude points, and then it will flip instantly. But, it'd be better if blah, blah, blah. And immediately it takes out the entire purpose of the exercise. If you're still tearing it down, it doesn't matter how pretty you make it sound. It's not true. You're not really grateful for it. You're saying it because it's what you think needs to be said, or you're saying it because it's what the common answer would be. Of course, if you're talking to people about their marriage and say, what are you grateful for? Well, of course I'm grateful for my husband. But, he just gets on my nerves because he does blah, 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 blah. Okay, wait, stop. Just stop. You're grateful for your husband just as a person, period. That's all it needs to be. But there are some that like to either, there's the opposite side where it's like, I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for this. And I think you do this wonderfully. And I think you do that wonderfully. And then at the very end, there is a undercut. You know what I'm talking about? You understand what I'm saying? Is it making sense?
Yeah, I was going to push back on you in the beginning, but I wanted you to go ahead and finish the thought out so I could understand where you're coming from.
Well, right now, it just needs to be an individual thing. So when you're thinking about what you're grateful for, I don't want listeners to think of, if I was sitting with my spouse and I was to go over my gratitude, what would I be expected to say? What is the right answer? That's not what this is. And I think that's where, in some of our coaching sessions, that's kind of where people go with it, is I'm supposed to give you the right answer. There is no right answer. What are you really grateful for? If you are grateful that you have a roof over your head, it's that simple. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. You don't have to go into some elaborate speech. You don't have to go into, well, but it's just that it's so small, or it's not always clean, or you're grateful you have a roof over your head. Stop there. Do it simple. Keep it as simple and as honest as you can until you get a little further down the line. Because some people take this, well,
that worked out.
That was you toe, huh?
It was.
It's usually mine. I got to thinking about it while you were talking, and this has actually been a hang up for a couple of people that we have talked to, where it's like, they want to give you the proper answer. I don't want the proper answer. I want you to genuinely think about it.
Yeah, I understand. I believe I understand what you're talking about, and hopefully I've emphasized hopefully I've articulated it properly, which is this is personal responsibility. This is you starting with you, and so it is important when it comes to the gratitude, and that's why I say if everything is crap, but you're listening to this program,
Start there.
then you have the gift of life, and you can, like Jeannie's talking about, have a case of the yabbits. And if you have a case of the yabbits, you're the problem. Okay? You are the problem. There's other things that make you the problem. But how do I know you're the problem? Because I was the problem in my own life. It doesn't mean I didn't have real things going on, but I was the problem. And I'm here to tell you, you are the problem.
Well, and you'll learn just in doing a gratitude exercise. And this was probably a hard pill for me to swallow in the beginning. When I had to go over what I'm grateful for, I was the problem because I was so pissy about things and so frustrated about things. I couldn't find anything to be grateful for. Even being alive, it was just like, yeah, okay, that's cool, because of where I was sitting. But if you sit in it for a minute and you really try to be honest with yourself, you will also learn, am I a negative person? Is that why I'm not grateful for things? Is that why I'm always feeling lonely or grumpy or whatever it is? That's a huge awareness moment for you. That's what this exercise is for. You're going to figure out real quick, what do you really think about the things in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. So I know it might seem counterproductive that in one breath I'm saying, well, why are you here and how do you feel? And then asking you to be grateful for something. But it's important as a part of the process. You need to admit how you feel. You need to admit it out loud. Irregardless of how you got there, you need to locate yourself on the map, because we're going to take you through a process that will help you. I don't want to say destination, but it will help you put a spot on the map. It's like a vacation destination, if you will. It's not your end point.
I'm envisioning in my head the Candyland game.
Okay.
Like, you're going to go through these, you're going to roll your dice, you're going to go through these things, you're going to jump a few steps, you're going to be making progress, then all of a sudden you're going to pull the wrong card and you're going to slide backwards. That's the process. That's how this works. You go through things, you get momentum, you start building progress. You're going to slide backwards, whether it's yourself, your spouse, your situation, life in general. We all have those moments. But when you have those things you're grateful for, those are the things that get you through those moments. Okay, this really sucks, but I have this, and this that are still really great things to hold on to. And it helps you to not sit in that crap moment for longer than you need to. Mm-hmm. That's the point of the exercise.
Yeah, I agree. That's the point of the exercise. And it's something that I'm asking you to do daily. I would do it daily, like in the shower, just, that's my consistent place. To have this gratitude conversation daily. And mine, if you need examples, mine was basically, I'm thankful for a great wife. I'm thankful for a great life, great children, great health, great wealth, great finances, a great ministry, a great future, and on and on and on. And sometimes I would have to call things what I wanted them to be before they became that.
I was just going to mention that, because you're saying certain things. If you were to say, for some people it's difficult, and I understand that, because I struggled with this before too. When we did the Julia Gulia thing, Gentry, we call her Gulia, inside joke. But I struggled with it because I'm calling things that aren't as if they were. And I understand the principle behind it. I understand the reason for it. But I struggled with it because I'm saying I'm grateful for something I don't yet have. But what it's doing is telling your mind that you're grateful for something that you're going to have, that you are working towards, that you are looking forward to having, so that when it arrives, it's not so mind-blowing that you can't hold on to it. You're already grateful for it, so it's supposed to be there. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you're also building an atmosphere of hope that things can improve. And I agree with Jeannie 100%. In the idea that, when you're on this quest, whether it's life or marriage or career, whatever it is, you're going to have these moments of advancement. And then life comes back to say, is this who you really are?
Hold my beer. That's always my joke.
The thing is, though, is that when you look at it that way, it means you have to fail. What it does is it brings you the opportunity. It brings you life brings you what feels familiar. And then you get the opportunity to see, have I changed and grown or have I not? And I don't know necessarily that it's a pass or fail, but it is something for you to recognize this is where I am versus where I thought I might be.
It's a change in perspective. The next time the same hiccup arrives, it's your perspective. Do I still look at it as, oh crap, here we go again. I knew this was going to happen. I'm no better than I was before. Or do you switch gears and say, okay, been there, done that. I know how to move past this one now. And you change how you see it. Whereas Quincy's really, really good at thriving in a challenge. So when something rears its ugly head, especially an old something rears its ugly head, for him, it's that moment of, go ahead, challenge me. I already know this isn't going to faze me. I know where I'm going with this. It's familiar. I've been here before. Is it always that way? No. Do we have hiccup moments?
Yes.
Of course we do. But the perspective that he now lives in, and I can say this because I've watched him do this for years. The minute a new challenge or an old one arises, the first thing he says is, I need to search myself on that and see why I'm feeling that way about it. Is it because it's an old familiar feeling, or is this because I know what this is and I just don't like it anymore, so I need to do something different to get rid of it. I need to do something different and move on. That's the point. Your perspective as you grow is going to change. That's what we want.
It does. It does. Your vantage point changes because you start to move along in the journey. And there are things, even in relationships, as you start to resolve things, familiar situations and feelings come back. And it's at that point that you get the opportunity to participate in the cycle or not participate in the cycle. And there are some things that require multiple trips around the track because you guys are going to negotiate. You are working through the challenges in your life. I hate to say it so vaguely, but that's just a fact. There are things that you will have to go around the mountain or the track a few times as you build this new piece of who you are. I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves, but I just want to prepare you that what we're doing, what we're asking you to do, it all works together. And it doesn't work together because I read it in a book somewhere. It works together because I've already lived it.
Right.
I've already been there, done that. And as TK used to say, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I've been there and done it.
We don't teach things that we haven't mastered ourselves or that we haven't experienced enough to say this is what we've learned.
I think if we do, we qualify it. And I'm not saying that this process is infallible. We are working through this on your behalf. So I'm not going to qualify that anymore. I just want you to know that the gratitude is going to matter. Because recently, with the folks that I've been talking with, whether it's family members, listeners to this program, or friends, there are times in your life where life is very lean. And for you guys that are people of faith, it's like, today I feel the presence of God in my life. And tomorrow it's like, hey, dude, did you check out and move to another solar system? Because I can't find you. I don't know where God is in my life. And so I challenge people to say that is the time when you build faith. Why is that? Because in the good times, you can reflect and appreciate your faith. But in the hard times, that's where you build your faith in your relationship. And so when you get through those times, it's imperative that you go by this phrase or a phrase that helps you move along, because phrases help me. I coach myself. When you don't know what to do, you do what you know. And that is what you do with consistency. And as long as you are operating and you are bearing your soul and your intentions are pure and your motivations are pure, if you don't know what to do, you do what you know. And then you reach out to the people that you trust in your life. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm just going to say this. Reach out to the people that you trust in your life, that you confide in, that don't have loose lips, and that will not allow you to stay in your victimized misery for too long. They'll let you vent, but then they will help course correct you. They might remind you of some of the words that you've said. They may remind you of how you've decided to challenge yourself. If you have no one in your life, then you have Quincy at mvsmpodcast.com. You've got that. Because that's what we do here for people. I do that for many people. And I'm happy to do it because I know how much my life has changed because of this. And, one thing I wrote today is that disciplines will change you, because I'm a product of having disciplines and a process. But a life and relationship and faith in Jesus Christ, that actually transforms you. So you start to become someone new. You don't have a discipline that you keep doing and remain the same person. You actually transform into someone new. And Ed Milet talks about it to where, like, every 7 to 10 years, you're a brand new person physically because your body reproduces itself. And I took that and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I'm going to transform through the process. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to you about homework, because in this series of Where Do I Start, you need to have some effort. You need to have what they call skin in the game. I don't always like to say that word, that phrase, but it is what it is. Okay. So this is your homework, and this is week one's homework. And I want you to observe your actions. I want you to observe your attitude. I want you to interact, like your interactions that come along. I want you to just be a silent observer in your own world. When this happens, what's the first thing that comes to my mind? What is my first action? Do I feel triggered? Those kinds of things. Because, hey, there are things in your current state that will cause you to feel triggered. And I know in society that terminology is overused, but there's a reality to it too. And if you're being triggered by crap, then you need to observe your behavior and say, why am I doing this? Why does this language make me feel a certain way? And so as you observe yourself and these interactions throughout this week, I want you to take some time to consider this question. And honesty is the policy here. Okay? Honesty is our policy. It's a must. Without honesty, we cannot move forward. We're just going to cover the problem. We can't move forward without it. This is a question that Jeanne and I, when we sit with people or when I coach people, I ask this question of you and your spouse. And it is this: would I hurt my spouse emotionally on purpose? Or would my spouse hurt me emotionally on purpose? So the question is, if you treat me in such a way, am I going to punish you for it and hurt you on purpose? And so let's just leave the question there. And I want you to think about that. Just put some time to think about that. And look, here's my expectation. You don't know me and I don't know you, but you're here and I'm glad you're here listening. But I'm here to ask you, no, I'm here to challenge you and say, if you're here, then do the freaking homework. Do the homework. I don't want to hear a phrase like this: I did the homework in my heart. No, I heard that recently from someone I really care about, and it was a line of bull crap. So if you truly want to get better, do this homework. Do the gratitude. Get to the point of saying, I am ... You need to be there. It's going to pay off over time. Now, obviously, you already know homework number 2. Actually, it's not obvious because I didn't tell you. I just have the notes in front of me. Homework number 2 is the gratitude exercise. Take the exercise and daily. And I used to ask myself, I used to say this when people would tell me to do something daily. I'd say, even on the weekends? Like, that was me on the inside. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, Quincy, even on the weekends. Do it daily, 7 days a week. I want you to hit that gratitude. If you only have one thing, then each day, I want you to sit. It might take 20 seconds, but I am asking you, please, to sit and say, I'm grateful for X. This is what it is. I'm grateful for it. And then go on about your day. The list is going to grow. It is going to grow. Sometimes it gets uglier before it gets better, but the list of gratitude is going to grow because now your eyes are going to be open for the things that you have gratitude for that you may not be thinking about because you spend too much time in your misery. And then the next thing is just this is just an exercise in thought because it's going to help you in locating you. So at the current place where you are now, I want you to write this phrase down. I thought ... And then on the next line, write, I would be blank. You fill in the blank. Whether it's in your life, whether it's in your profession, whether it's in your career. Those are the same thing, I guess. Whether it's in your relationship, etc. I thought I would be here versus I am here. Now, that might be very disappointing because you thought you were going to be somewhere and you're not there. And that's okay. We're just locating you. And part of what we are not good at, I don't know about other countries, but I think over here in America, we're not good at managing disappointment and learning how to deal with it. Maybe disappointment is very foreign to us. I don't know. I can only speak for myself that there would be things that would happen, and then I would start to get very salty and project my frustrations on other people, and I didn't realize that I was just disappointed about some things. And it's okay to be disappointed, but we must learn how to burn through that in a healthy way. And unless we do that, then we're going to continue to allow our emotions to dictate our attitude. And that, to me, was unacceptable. Look, like Jeannie said, we still work through things.
Mm-hmm.
There were episodes in the last 7 days that happened that are very familiar in some challenging areas of mine and Jeannie's relationship, and I had a decision to make. Am I going to participate in the cycle, or am I going to do something different? It's up to me. It's up to me to make the choice. And so we are still actively growing. That's how we can be ahead on the path that you're walking. We can look back and say, hey, keep going. Keep going. We know what's on the other side of this. It's worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze. Keep going. Even if it's one step, go. Continue to go, and we will step in this with you because we've been there. We know exactly what this feels like. Maybe not the same circumstances. Okay, guy who has to hold me to the exact letter. It's probably because I was that guy at one point. Well, you may. No, forget it. Anyway, that's this episode right here. I don't want there to be a whole lot of extra fluff in it. I want it to be direct. I want it to be to the point. You need to find a place to start, and we are giving it to you. And I am telling you right now, if you accept this challenge and you decide to walk through whatever this becomes, your life is not going to be the same. You are going to change. It's there. It's available to you. It is available to you if you want it. Don't tell me you want it. You've got to show me that you want it. I came up with this saying because I was tired of saying stuff and then not doing it. It's like talk is cheap. It's action that pays the bills. Those two things need to meet, your words and your actions. That's where it's at. I'm excited for you to be here. I truly am. I might be a little intense about it, and that's okay, because intensity is necessary sometimes. You have your homework. The homework is observe yourself, observe your interactions, your internal dialogue, and then ask yourself the question: would I hurt my spouse emotionally on purpose? Am I going to punish my spouse because they make me feel a certain way? Would my spouse do that to me? Okay, your gratitude exercise. And then at the current place I thought I would be versus I am. Get that written down, okay? It's crucial, because as we go along, you're going to be looking back at this stuff. You're going to be able to see how you've grown. right, honey. What else you got?
I think it's enough. If we go any further, we're going to oversaturate this, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What's that?
Keep it simple.
It is my KISS principle. Keep it super simple. I didn't come up with that, but I stole it and I use it all the time. Keep it super simple. All right, that's it. Remember, if you need some feedback or you need some advice or you need someone to bounce some of these things off of, which I guess is the same as advice, you have the email. It is quincy@mvsmpodcast.com. And Quincy is Quincy. Easy enough. All right. That is it for this particular episode of Man versus Marriage. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get to work. Okay? We're here for you. Thank you so much for listening. For Jeannie Moran, my lovely wife, I'm Quincy Moran, a.k.a. The Q Dog, a.k.a. The Q Diggity Dog. And this is Man versus Marriage, the podcast.